Thank you very much. Welcome to Business Chronicles here on Studio 84. Studio 84 is a podcast studio here along Lithuli Avenue in Bugolobi, Kampala, Uganda, and it is a space set up to empower individuals and businesses and organizations tell their stories and, position themselves as authorities at whatever they do. And today on Business Chronicles, I'm pleased to host a lady who is looking away from me. I'm sure you can tell from her facial expression, she's extremely naughty. She's very playful. And actually, as a matter of fact, just a few days ago, she held a big event here. She calls it Qweshunga. If you come from where we come from, you know what that means. It's all about playfulness. Mm-hmm. So I'll ask her to introduce herself and tell us what she does.
Hi, Solomon. Thank you so much for hosting me. My name is Penelope Sanyu. You can call me Penny or Sanyu, whichever works. I do many things. I'm a jack of many, many trades. But I will talk about one today. I'll just talk about... He has jam. What kind of interview is this?
Okay, we'll
I
see.
do very many...
You'll talk about...
I do very many things, but the intersection of all those things that I do is play.
Yeah.
I love to play. I love to play so much. And so because I love to play so much, I started a company that encourages adults to play.
Yeah.
That's how much I love play. And you rightly called it Qweshunga. For me, Qweshunga is my space to... It's first my space and then everybody else's space. I am happy if I organize a Qweshunga thing and I am there and I am playing and I am the one. So it starts with me. And the reason I started it was to sort of decolonize or reclaim the word omweshungo. In Runyankole, omweshungo means playfulness. Yeah. But the connotation, when someone says, omweshungo, the connotation that comes with that is that you're a stubborn child and it's a bad thing. Yes. You're too playful and it's a negative thing. And so in school, all my reports have, she could have done better, but she has omweshungo. She would have been a better friend, but she plays too much. She would, and it bothered me so much growing up.
Yeah, so. I see your teachers spoke Qweshunga into your life after all.
They really did, but in a negative way. So I tried to, as an adult, I was like, look, I have the power and the knowledge right now to create a space that's positive, that play is not a bad thing. Play is a good thing. Play is a nice way to relieve memories. It's a nice way to loosen up and be a functional adult. It's a nice way to release stress. So how about we take back that word omweshungo from the people who think it's a bad thing and throw it back to the public as a good, positive thing that people embrace and do as a lifestyle, not even as an event.
I actually like the word you used earlier in trying to describe what Qweshunga is about. You used the D word, the decolonization word.
Yes.
It's a popular word lately, thanks to some people. Penny, did you go to... Yes, you said you went to school.
I did.
What did you study and specialize in, Penny?
I studied law.
Lawyers lately love that word.
Lawyers like big words, but that's not why I use the word. I use the word because really we must decolonize our minds. That's the honest truth. We've been living under colonialism for a very long time. And today colonialism manifests even amongst ourselves as Africans and as Ugandans. So we are recolonizing ourselves and there has to be someone doing the work of decolonizing all over again.
Penny, the reason we can't focus on Qweshunga today is because I feel your story is incomplete, especially when I told people she's quite naughty and your naughtiness is not complete without talking about what you do as your day job.
My full-time job is Qweshunga. See, this is why I was saying. This is why I was saying that Qweshunga is not, for me, Qweshunga is not an event. It's not an organization. It's not a thing. It's a lifestyle. The same way I wake up every day and brush my teeth, I turn on my play when I get out of bed. Like, I've woken up. What are we doing to play today? How are we playing? How do we manifest this? So for me, it's more of a lifestyle than it is a thing that I got.
An event for some people,
Yes. And that's why I use the word decolonize, because we've been conditioned to believe that to play, I need a structured place. I need to set up a five-a-side thing and go play football at a certain place, or I need to organize a play group for my children and they go and play. And I don't think about play like that. I am an ideas person. I'm a creative in my other world. That's not my day job. I create things, and as a creative, I think that the ability to play with ideas, the ability to allow your mind to take you to places that you don't even go to when you're not in that creative space, the ability to create, to allow your imagination to wander and take you to things and places and worlds that don't exist. That's play. And so I love to say that actually the definition of Qweshunga on our website is that play is the lifeblood of curiosity. And recently I added that it's also the lifeblood of building community, building relationships, and creativity. So it's all those things. You can't do what you do if you're not playing. I can't be the lawyer that I studied to be if I don't play. I cannot be the firstborn daughter that I am if I am not playful. I cannot be the CEO of Femme Forte Uganda, where I do the night job, not the day job. The night job.
I can't wait to chip in. That's a good point to come in. What is Femme Forte?
What kind of podcast is this? Guys, we are sorry.
What
I'm going
is
to
Femme
focus
Forte?
now. So I'm going to focus and I'm going to
I
be
had a
serious.
question about Qweshunga, but now that you bring Femme Forte,
First finish all your questions about Qweshunga, then I will answer all the other
so
questions.
to many people, Penny, Qweshunga is an event. It's this annual event you host. And I think last weekend you hosted the biggest so far, to my knowledge. You went all out. And guys had a very good time. I hope we can show some photos here as we discuss this. But many people switch it on. They're like, this is the day to play.
Yeah.
And yesterday on Sunday, they woke up with aches in their bodies. On Monday, they went back to work, serious work, back to their grueling 8 to 5 or whatever it is. And that's it. They'll wait for another one in 2025. So how can they or we incorporate the Qweshunga in our everyday life to keep us alive, so to say?
So now I'm going to talk about Femme Forte as I respond to your question. One of the things that I learned in my early years as a CEO at Femme Forte, one of my mentors told me, see, Penny, you're one whole person. And when you come to work, you don't take bits of yourself and leave them at the gate and then enter the office and workspace and work, do the serious work, then pick up the unserious parts of yourself and then go home. And so for me, the biggest question as a leader has been, how do I not become the bipolar person? I'm not attacking bipolar people in any way. How do I not become this person who has mood swings that 1 minute I'm playing with my people outside, or on the phone my friend will call me and we are laughing and jazzing and in a split second I am now the serious CEO because my staff have entered and they want to ask a finance question. How do I remain the consistent person that I am every day? Because this is who I am. This is how I talk. This is how I play. This is what I want to be. This is what gives me life. So how do I bring it to the workspace? And so I'm trying to build Qweshunga as a culture of play.
Yes.
as a thing that navigates a culture of play, not just in individual lives, at workplaces, with our children and how we parent, with our work and how we do it, in our policies, that when I come and sign an HR manual, there should be a thing around play in the work policy that's not just a one-time team building thing that happens when the CEO says we have a staff retreat.
Yes, yes.
That it should be as part of my orientation. I have play in my culture. That when that way I don't get fatigued, I don't get stressed at work, mental health issues are going to reduce, and people begin to embrace play as a thing. Look at children. Look at children. Children don't have stress in their lives. The things that stress them are the times adults try to take away play from their life.
Yes.
When you try to take away play by telling me now it's nap time, you need to drop all the toys and go and sleep. Clear up all the toys in the house, you're dirtying the house. But kids are constantly playing. And because they're constantly playing, their relationships are very healthy. A kid will poke you right now and you'll be annoyed at them, or you'll cane them, and in 2 seconds they'll come back and want to play with you.
Yes.
They don't bear a grudge, they don't have issues with people, they don't, because their conditioning is that play is the only way to communicate.
way of life,
It's the
yes.
language. Play is the language. It's not a go-to thing. It is the main thing.
I see why you're some two little girls' favorite auntie. Even I, as a child, would have you as a favorite auntie.
I love kids so much because they teach us a lot, a lot. I mean, even the Bible says we need to become as children, right?
Yeah.
The innocence with which they deal with matters of life, serious matters of life, just it blows my mind away. So I love kids. Of course, I'm the favorite auntie everywhere because I listen to kids. I love their stories. Their stories are cantankerous, but they are also life-changing when you listen to how they think, how they structure their conversations, how they build relationships, how they talk about the things that matter to them. It will sound like a useless thing, but they are making so much sense and they have a point and they can defend it. And so for me, I wish adult relationships were like that. That solo, I don't have to see you every day to be your buddy.
Yeah.
That even when I don't show up for you one day, it's
Yeah.
understandable that I
Yes.
wasn't able to
Yes.
show up
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
And so when I show up, it's a dope thing. We are bongaring, we are kawa, we are playing. And we start where we stopped. There's no these things of you missed a whole year of my life, now catch up. Where we stopped, we
Is
start
where we
there
take it
and we
from.
continue because life is not that serious. It's really not.
This has to be the most unstructured conversation I've had here because every time you open your mouth and speak, you hint on things that force me to move on to other conversations. You mentioned the Bible says something about play and children, and I have it on good authority, Penny, that you were once upon a time.
We are not going there, guys. This is going to be a very bad idea. But go on.
Penny, I have it on good authority that you were once, if not almost, a pastor in a Pentecostal church.
I am a pastor even now.
Oh,
I'm an apostle. My calling is apostolic. I have the apostolic anointing on my life, guys. So honor me properly. Anyway, no, not like that.
No.
Yes. I still I consider myself a minister
Yeah.
in the kingdom of God because I have been called to nations and I still serve and love the God that I serve. I love to tell my friends that Jesus has my heart. He does. It might not look like it every day, on some days, on other days, but he really has my heart like this in his palms, and he loves me. I love him back, and we do this thing that we do together. One of my understandings of ministry is that ministry is not something that happens on the pulpit.
Yeah.
And so I said I am called to the apostolic ministry because I'm a planter of things.
Yeah.
I am a starter of things.
Yes.
And I carry that gift wherever I go. It's not just in my family, it's not in my work, not just in my friendships. I am a relationship starter. People will tell you that if Penny is your friend, then 1,000 other friends will be
Will
your
come along,
friends, because
yes.
that's the gift that I possess, and that's a thing that comes naturally to me. I have no problem starting things and starting over, from scratch. I'm constantly building things, and once those things have reached a certain level, I'm quick to move on to something else. I get bored really, really easily,
Yeah.
and that's an apostolic trait, really. Like, we are not there to nurture and grow things, and we are there to plant and start, and other people will water and harvest, and we've moved on to other things. But that said, my main pulpit today is at Femme Forte, Uganda, a space where a place that I call home, that I created for women,
Yes.
mostly to use their authentic voice. That there's a lot happening in the world where women are left in the background, and women are not recognized, and women are not cared for, and not seen, and not heard. And I wanted to create a platform for women to know that they are valued, their rights are valued. They are human beings. God loves them. God wants to use their voices. Their wisdom is needed in the world, and we can use that to build the world and make it a better place. And so I started this space for young women, especially, to help with, understanding what happens to my body with all these changes that are happening, especially for the younger girls in schools. Why am I getting boobs? Why am I, getting pubic hair? Why do I sound the way I sound? Why do I get mood swings every month at a certain time? How do I deal with those complexities if I can't talk to my parents, or if I can't talk to my friends about these things? And so Femme Forte is this safe space for the young women and girls to come and talk about the things that bother them. And of course, a woman's body is constantly evolving. Everyone's body is constantly evolving, women more than men, because, now you're dealing with, oh my God, I am a teenager and I am anxious about getting my period. Then you have the period, and then there's a lot of madness going on there. And then in the middle there, your uterus is saying, we need children, and you're not ready to have children. And so there's also that stage of figuring that out. And then while you've just tried to figure that out, you're in perimenopause, then you're in menopause, then it's a constant transition every single day. And you need a safe space, a circle of sisters, a circle of siblings, to just say, look, I hear you, I understand you, your body is going crazy, but you're a normal person. And that space is Femme Forte.
Penny. What happened to the world where all children are equal, they are raised the same? Because every time you go down that road, I worry about the boy child.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing on the girl child. Where does that leave the boy child?
So that I was going to say a very feminist response to this. I was going to say a totally feminist
I
response.
hope you had.
To
I wish you had. So
no, let me not. Let me extend grace, and we are here to learn from one another. So one of the things I hear parents say, especially the lies that we have told ourselves, even as parents and as siblings and as human beings, is that we are equal.
no.
We are really not.
What I meant
And
is,
we don't parent equally.
Penny, the homes we're raised in
Yes.
were raised all as children.
But it still wasn't equality. So let me give you an example.
I keep telling people that this whole thing started with 1.5 points.
No, actually not. Let me tell you, I grew up in an extended family where everybody did everything, right? Everybody did everything. But still, there was a time when the boys would be told to sit so that the girls go to the kitchen and serve them. There were times when they said, these are men's jobs, stay away. I am a cantankerous person, as you can imagine, as a kid. If I'm like
You'd
this
have
as
none
an
of
adult,
that.
as a
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? I want to wash the car as well. And I'm tiny like this. I was a very, very tiny girl, very, very small, but very cantankerous. And so I'm like, no, I want to wash the car. What do you mean the boys will be the ones to wash the car? My father had a policy where if you polished his shoes, because he used to work at Uganda House, and so he had a man that polished his shoes until you could see your reflection in them.
Yeah, I remember that man.
And that man, I don't remember if it was Kaziro or Shoe Shiners or something, but there was a man at Uganda House. He would polish his shoes and clean his watches and remove all those wood black things that were in, and that was the man's job. One day, we had an argument with my dad about how much money he was giving us for pocket money, and he said we needed to earn the money. And so there was a fight around who polishes his shoes and gets extra pocket money, because the boys automatically, that's their work. They will polish the shoes, they'll wash his car. And he's like, I take my car to be washed at 20K or 15K or 10K. If you wash it at home, I'll give you
half
the money.
price or something.
No, he would give you even the full price.
Okay.
He's like, my shoes, they polish 2,000 per pair. If you polish all of them and they are what I need them to be, the money is yours. And me, I was like, yeah, I'm a musobuzi here. Let's do this. I would fight with the boys at home to do that. But it was work, because my mom would be like, no. No polishing enkito. You get it's in her mind. That's not a girl's
job.
That's not a girl's job to do. So, and we innocently say these things. We innocently do these things, and say no. The boys will have the remote while the girls are out there learning how to peel and how to do what. It's not the same. I told you, I grew in a communal home. My uncles today cook better than their wives. Pun intended, by the way. They cook better than their wives because we were all in the kitchen, all of us.
I can.
We
relate
were
to that
all
phrasing,
in the
by
in
the way. I
the
can
we were
relate.
all in the garden harvesting millet. There's no child, no boy, no girl. We were all doing those things together. Today, the way we are parenting is totally different. We are saying that it's okay for the girls to learn how to take care of the men and to take care of their households and to take care of grooming and taking care of the home and the nurturing bit. And we are telling the men that it's not their responsibility to nurture. It's not their responsibility to groom. It's their responsibility to provide. And so if I provide, everything else can go to the dogs. I've brought the money. And that's not working.
Penny, like I told you before the conversation
I knew
started,
why you wanted to talk about
No.
Femme Forte. Let's go back to Qweshunga.
I am not empowered to finish this conversation, so you will have to come back here. I have a mercenary in mind.
I see. They're even bringing mercenaries for me. I'm dead. Wow.
I have a mercenary in mind who is more capable of having this conversation. He'll know himself because I'll share this episode with him. But Penny, I'll ask one more time.
Yeah.
With this attention you're paying to the girl child, do you genuinely worry about the boy child, and who is paying that kind of attention to the boy child?
I do, actually. I do. And that's why you see, the one thing that I wanted to emphasize even before I answer that question is that when feminists are preaching equity, they are not saying, oh, ignore the boy child or elevate the girl alone and things like that. All we're saying is that the girl, the moment you're born a woman, you're already disadvantaged. That's number one. That's our history, that's our culture. You know that there are cultures where they even killed girls when girls were born. We've never recovered from those things. Yes, we've gone to school, we've gone to Harvard, and we speak good English, and we have accents, and But when we go back to culture and sit, we've not evolved, right? So we still esteem the boy child as the only heir in a home. You've seen families today in 2024 saying a girl cannot inherit her father's property. 2024.
Yeah.
And so what feminists are saying is that, listen, the girls are already disadvantaged. That's it. Whereas the boys have this privilege and this autonomy and all this power that comes with being a man, that society puts on you, culture puts on you, things are happening, right? Can we level the ground for both to coexist? Because when we apply for a job, right? can we put into consideration the fact that I cannot compete at the same level as Solomon? Because on this job, I'm going to get pregnant by a man, and I will take leave, and then I will get into nurturing, and then I will. So, whereas I am on the same position, I'm on senior management, the time I'm on leave, Solomon is advancing himself.
Yes.
He's getting more, like, it's not the same. It can never be a level playing field. And so when we say give women a little more space, give them a little more consideration, we are saying the men already have it going good for them. It's not the best, it's not ideal, but they are still way better than the woman. And so allow the woman to get to a space where they can ably compete with Solomon without breaking their back and losing their head while at it. Now, do I worry about the boy child? Of course, that's why I'm doing the work that I am doing, because in empowering women to raise children the feminist way, to say that cooking is a life skill. It is not a thing that can be glorified. It's not a gender role.
Yeah.
If you're hungry, go to the kitchen and cook, whether you're a boy, whether you're a girl, whether you're a nanny, like whatever you identify yourself as, go to the kitchen and cook. It does not have to wait for a woman to feed you because you're hungry, and that's a woman's role. I don't step in the kitchen. And so we're challenging parenting today and saying, as women who are raised in this oppression, is this the oppression you want your children to pass on to the next generation? So as a mother of boys, for example, how are you raising your boys to be good husbands, be good caretakers, be good providers, be good men, even if they decided never to marry, be good citizens in society without esteeming the ego of a man and belittling the people around them, but coming onto the table and saying, look, man or no man, I can be a decent human being. That's the gospel according to feminism.
I can't add anything to it. Listen, Penny. Oh my God. We're out of time. But I have to ask you these two questions. One, you rock me as someone who is self-aware, and you know it. Mm-hmm. You know what you're good at, you know what you're capable of, you know what you don't like, you know what puts you in a bad mood. How do you get to that place?
I never used to be like this.
Exactly.
I never used to be like this. I was a really timid girl. Yes, I was assertive, and yes, I was raised in an environment that gave me opportunities to speak back and to question. My grandfather always had these evenings where he would ask questions. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's going on? And you learn to express yourself depending on those environments. But at my big age today, even with everything that I am, I still struggle with imposter syndrome. I still walk into places and think I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
I still get challenged walking into rooms and people are throwing around Harvard degrees and what. I'm like, me with my Kawan Makere degree, what am I going to say to these people? So it's a constant struggle, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work surrounding yourself with people that constantly affirm you and constantly call out greatness. And I think beyond that, reading. I am a reader. I read a lot. I know the cliche that, good leaders read and good readers lead. That's something people hear and be like, nah. I read a lot. I try to be ahead of the game. I try to educate myself about different things because, like I said, I'm a jack of many trades. And so I will read about interior design. I will read about math. I'll read about art. I will read about boys. I'll read about girls. I read about so many things so that if I'm ever put on gunpoint, I can say something about something in that matter, in that situation, so that I'm never caught off guard. But that's also a trauma response to being inadequate,
Yes.
being raised
Yes.
to think you're inadequate, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to get into the mental health conversations around trauma responses, but for some of us, my biggest trauma response is poverty. I am afraid of poverty. I fear it so much because I grew up in it. I'm afraid that one day I will wake up and I won't have rent and I will have to go back to the village. I fear that I will wake up one day and I can't speak all this English that I'm speaking right now, and then people will finally see that I am nothing. And I struggle with those things. But it's a trauma response to poverty because that's all we had. You know, you would wake up one day, you have a bed, tomorrow you don't. You wake up, you have clothes, tomorrow you don't. You're going to school, tomorrow they are chasing you for school fees. And I don't want young people to suffer from that. And that's why I create the platforms that I create, to enable young people to understand that how you were raised has a lot to do with what you become in the future, but it should not be the thing that holds you back. You can be anything, you can do anything, you can be awesome. I mirror read every time I have to speak. I'm in the bathroom in my mirror saying, this is what I'm going to say, this is how I'm going to say it. I practice. So when people see the awesomeness on TV or the awesomeness on a podium and I'm speaking, they're like, oh my God, she's so good.
There goes the
No,
self-awareness.
I have taken work. I have put in the work. I have taken time to constantly tell myself, this is going to work. This is who I am. I am a gorgeous person. I am an awesome person. I do these things. And even to the minute of speaking, I'm telling myself, you can do this. You're good at this. You have the mind of Christ. You can do all things. I am constantly reminding myself of that. Yes.
One last one, Penny, before I let you go. Also related to that, I'm trying to get in your mind. When you are doing your legal degree,
Yes.
did you know or did you imagine that you'd end up in this space or applying it the way you're applying it now? Because I'm sure it comes in handy. Or did you think you'd end up in a courtroom, start a law firm or something like that?
So my law story is a whole other conversation. I don't believe in. So I said I operate in the apostolic, and I've known that since I was a kid because I was raised in the church. Callings, purpose, those things were drummed down our throats, and we knew those things. When we filled our senior six forms, the job forms, I told my mom that I have the gift of speech. Like, I will talk. If you put a microphone before me, I will talk. If you ask me to talk about something, I will talk about it. That has always been the case. And so in my mind, I envision myself being like a journalist or going in media and doing things along that journey. And so my four choices were: one, mass communications. Law was not anywhere in my applications.
Yeah.
I applied for mass comm. I did international business, economics, and psychology. There were usually four choices. So those were the things I applied for. When our senior six results came back, I was the top in the country. Yeah, I am genius like that. No Bambi, it was by the grace of God. I topped the country, and so they came to my home to put me in the newspapers and what. And because of all the pressure, I said, I want to create. I still have that newspaper. I will share it with you because I said I want to do law so that I can fight for people's rights and I can fight for their rights, something like that. But I hadn't applied for law, and it wasn't anywhere in my plans. So anyway, they put the lists of people in government, on government scholarship.
Sponsorship, yes.
I am not in mass comm, I am not in psychology, I am not in any of the things I applied for.
How come?
They had not given me
Okay.
a placement there. So my mom was so stressed. And she's like, oh my God, we don't have money to pay for your university. What's going to happen? You are the best in the country. How can it be that you don't have... It was a week of torture. And then one day, my mom used to work with Pride Microfinance then. So they would buy newspapers every day. So one of her friends is going through the newspapers and they're like, isn't this your daughter? She has been given law. I'm like, law? I did not apply for law. Anyway, I go to law school and there I am. get admission, do law. From my first year law school, I knew this was not my place because I was like, what? No, no, no. This is so boring, reading cases and doing things. This is not what I want to do. I want to be where the action is. I want to be out there being cantankerous, sitting in class and being serious. I can't do those things.
Qweshunga.
I struggled in law school because I think my lecturers, Kabumba, is always, my lecturers would always be like, oh, the girl with black lipstick, or the girl with yellow hair, or the girl with purple. Because I was the one who was breaking all the rules of where council doesn't run in the rain, me, I would be in the rain running. Council doesn't sit on a border. I'm like, sure, what do you mean? We shall take borders. So I was those defiant people. But I knew that whatever place I ended at, I would be fighting for people's rights in one way or another. But I would also be creating for spaces for people to use their voice to be heard in one way or another. And so, yes, I did not end up in the courtroom practicing law. Oh, I did all those things. I graduated, what. Yeah, but I worked in a law firm, I think, for 3 months and said, wow, this is not my thing. We are lying, drafting paperwork and showing up in court, and then they are adjourning 1,000 times before they give us a resolution on a matter. I was like, no, I can't. Let me try civil society. And in civil society, I met the Bishop's Axe. We did the Black Banner movement. We did what? I was happy because we were doing things that were tangible, right? I worked with the International HIV/AIDS Alliance. I was in Karamoja. Like, things were happening. The things that I loved. I loved to be where the people were, where the community is, and to spread awesomeness and kindness to those communities. And so that's the path I ended up taking.
And awesomeness and kindness was spreading, Penny. Thank you very much, Penny, for your time.
Thanks for having me. And I'm sorry this was not as structured as your usual, whatever. I
by default, I extend you an open invitation for the next conversation that we hope will be more structured. Exactly, that I have to bring a mercenary for because we have not even scratched the surface, Penny.
We shall create time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Viewers and listeners, this was Penny Sanyu. I'll drop, if you're watching us on YouTube, I'll drop her website to Femme Forte, to Qweshunga down in the description. Then you can get in touch with the organizations and get to know more about her. And for the younger girls, she's definitely a person to have conversations with. Thank you very much, Penny, once again. This was Penny and Business Chronicles. On to the next episode. Thank you.